Good evening. I'm political editor Dennis Welch, and this is Politics Unplugged. And today we are talking ballparks, baseball, and tax dollars. And with us today is Maricopa County Supervisor Andy Kanasic. Thank you very much for being here. Now, I want to start off by talking a little bit about some communications that came to light between you and the Diamondbacks. And here, among other things, you told the team's owner, quote, "If it were up to me, I would let you take your stupid team and get out," adding, "Take it all back and go back to West Virginia." And there's an expletive that you can see that was emphasized there in the monitor. Take us through what led you to this.
Not one of my proudest moments, but sometimes you say things, you get caught up in the heat of the moment, things come rushing to a head, and but it does go way back. I mean, I've lived with the stadium since I took office. We've worked hard to maintain it. I think it's a beautiful facility that we're proud of as a community. And you know, some things were said about the stadium of late that there's problems. It's not being maintained, and that's not true.
Well, and it was specifically with some allegations that were made against you and some of the county members.
Yeah, there were things said that one of the reasons a resolution is not being found is that, you know, the county is more worried about the suite and parking spaces and tickets, and I was so deeply offended by that, by those statements, and you know, got very emotional about it because it's simply not true. It is patently false, and I think, especially in politics, you don't have much more than your reputation. I know a lot of people don't really believe that in this day and age, but to me it's quite personal.
And for a little bit of the backstory for people who aren't really familiar with this, the team has asked for $65 million in upgrades, and now the county has not agreed to give them that yet, and this is what kind of this whole fight has really stemmed from. So, you know, why do you think that they were making allegations then that you guys were just in it for the perks? You guys wanted more perks, your parking. What was behind that? Did you have any conversations with the team owner?
Really none. I mean, it just that part came out of left field. Actually, for years there's been discussions. There's been a belief, from me especially, that the county is not the proper resting place or vesting place for the stadium. I honestly believe the city of Phoenix or some other government, but the county, something other than the county, is where the ownership should lie. It's and there's a long story. We don't really. That's not in our business line, so to speak, and we derive no benefit from it. We're the only county in the state that doesn't even have a sales tax. We don't get bed taxes. We don't get a rental car tax. There's absolutely no financial gain to the county as a political subdivision.
Now, what's the reason that they're telling you that they need the $65 million worth of upgrades right now? Because I know the purpose is to give people a safe place to go watch a ball game. It still fulfills that mission. So why do they need this money?
My understanding is, first, they've been a little inconsistent in the message. You know, there's been numbers, 180 million, there's been 60 million, and they're talking about different things entirely. Bottom line, the facility is in good structural shape. The roof works. The systems are all up and working. The air conditioner is still state-of-the-art. Everything that's really on our side of the responsibility is in great shape. A lot of the things they're talking about are fan experience, you know, the condition of suites. The game has changed somewhat, regardless of the product that's on the field, and people could say, well, you know, they'd fill it up if they had a better record. The fact is, I think the game has changed, the business has changed, and I believe if they really told us what they were concerned with, there's too many seats there, even if they're fielding a winning team and things are going
So you think the stadium's too big?
I believe there's probably too many seats. I think maybe there's some things that could be done within the structure that we have, the facility that we have, to right size it, if you would. They supersized it. There was the team's call 20 years ago to add, I believe it was about 12,000 seats that the county didn't budget for, and frankly didn't think were necessary.
Now, have they threatened to leave town if they don't get what they want. Now, they still got 10 years on this current deal. So, but we've seen this over and over again play out across the country where Major League sports franchises will say, well, we'll just go someplace else if we don't get what we want.
I don't know if it was a threat or, I guess call it what it was. I think that implied that if we don't get what we want, we'd like to look elsewhere. My immediate response is we have a lease. It's there's no breach in the lease, I just think that was a bad card to play at this point in the game. I think it was insincere.
Now, at this point, I do want to mention that we did ask Derek Hall, CEO of the Diamondbacks, to come on to the show. He declined to do that. Where would you say that the relationship between the county and the D-backs are right now? Is it getting better, or do you think it's still pretty rocky?
I think at the very base, it's our business of government, their business of baseball, and I think that dialogue on a professional level continues. Like anything with human beings, there's sometimes emotions and some ill-conceived thoughts that come into play that get people worked up. But I feel like I have no real animosity towards certainly towards Derek, even though we've had words. I've had words with friends in the past.
Some words with him. So let me just play this, because we did get a statement from their attorney, and it says right here, and I quote, "It is unfortunate that this continues to be played out publicly by a government entity that refuses to live up to its obligations clearly laid out in their long-term agreement." Goes on to say, "This is an organization that has given so much back to the community and its fans, and that has such a tremendous impact on the economy. The county's abdication of its responsibility for necessary funding for the longevity of a public building is an unprecedented and unfair to the organization and its fans." Care to respond to that?
Well, first of all, I don't think lawyers should be writing statements such as you just read, because I don't think the public, based on what I've heard the last several days, I don't think the public believes at all that the county's doing anything wrong or in any way acting inappropriately. A couple people said choose your words better in the future, but the sentiment has been overwhelmingly supportive, which even I was quite surprised by that. But so I think their lawyer's wrong. I think his statements are his or her. I don't even know who's writing that, but I think the best thing that could happen is the principals talk without the lawyers.
Yeah. Now, do you think something's going to happen? Or can something be reached here within before you leave office? Because obviously you're not running for re-election at this point. Do you think some deal can be reached before you leave office at the end of the year, within the next couple of years, that is going to settle this?
I'm always the glass is half full guy. I absolutely believe it could and it should, and frankly it must. We have to, for the people that we serve, and they have obligations, I believe, to their fans locally and nationally to resolve this. But it's simply not going to be Maricopa County sitting down and writing a blank check and saying, knock yourself out.
And last question, because a lot of people want to know, are you a Diamondbacks fan?
I love baseball, and I've been to quite a few Diamondbacks games, and I always buy my own tickets to those games when I go.
That's important in Arizona.
Yes. So I guess I am a Diamondbacks fan. I want to get the whole brand back to the Diamondbacks being the proudly recognized as our home team, homegrown team, and I don't like to see the stadium fill up only when the Yankees come here or the Red Sox or whoever else. I think I want to see nothing but the Diamondbacks, whatever the colors are this week. I want to see that stadium full of it.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, but we're going to have to take a quick break. We have lots more to come on Politics Unplugged. Coming up next, a marijuana initiative makes it to the ballot. But is there a new move to stop it before voters get a chance to have their say? Legal wrangling over legalization of pot. Just ahead.
We call it in sports most valuable player award. The winner of the trophy for ISIS would probably have to be Hillary Clinton.
And Donald Trump talks foreign policy, why he says Hillary Clinton can't defeat ISIS. Coming up on Politics Unplugged.
teacher has sex with a student.
He was never my student.
Until that night.
Now,
It's not a sex crime.
she's suing him.
I wanted an apology.
Next Dr. Phil. Monday at 3 on 3TV.
This Valley woman is fighting Alzheimer's, and your brain could be the key to unlocking the cure for thousands. The simple thing you can do now to help Arizona families win the battle.
She's been a blessing to me, so it's my turn to serve.
Thursday at 9 on 3TV.
Show her you remember. The Jewelry Exchange has thousands of anniversary bands. Compare Tiffany's 1-carat bands for $7,300 with ours for $1,890. Half-carat bands are $249. 2-carat micro pavé $799. The Jewelry Exchange, family owned.
Quality top-tier gas helps keep engines clean.
I have helped keep your engine clean.
I will call you Donnie!
Who's Donnie?
Arco, quality top-tier gas for less.
These days, we're always connected. But when do we take time to really connect? Peter Piper Pizza is the perfect place for some family FaceTime, where you can check in with each other. Sharing is done in person, and social has nothing to do with media. Unplug, then reconnect at Peter Piper Pizza. Double your delight at Peter Piper Pizza. Right now, get 2 large one-topping pizzas on handmade dough for just $22. It's 2 for $22. Peter Piper Pizza. Everyone grab a slice.
You paid too much for those glasses.
Who?
You. Designer frames? Well, so are these. And these. And these. And they all cost less than those.
How?
America's Best. Where 2 pairs of designer glasses and a free eye exam start at $69.95. Get ready to...
Turn some heads?
Save money.
That's good, too.
The designer sales event is not just a better deal. It's America's Best. Hurry, sale ends soon.
Thanks for letting us come into your home each week. We pray for you, and we're believing that you're going to see God's goodness in amazing ways. Stand still, and you'll see God deliver you. When you remain at rest, Almighty God fights your battles. Everybody around you is going to have no doubt the God you serve is an awesome God. I'll promise you this, every time you turn us on, we're going to try to inspire you, to challenge you, to help you become all God's created you to be.
And welcome back to Politics Unplugged. It's now time to talk it out with our partners from First Strategic. And with us today is Marcus Dellartino and Kurt Davis. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Let's just start off real quick with talk a little bit about some big announcement here from Marcus. We got to say congratulations that got some twins there, some new addition to the Dellartino family there.
Those are my girls holding hands. And the thanks goes to the wonderful nurses out at Scottsdale and Shea.
All right, all right.
That's 3 girls under 2.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm in a lot of trouble, and I'm exhausted already.
You gotten any sleep this past week?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and my wife has gotten less, and I love you, honey. You did a great job. Thank you.
All right, let's pivot from babies over to baseball now, and let's talk a little bit about this dust-up over at the county. It's a natural thing,
transition.
right? So let's talk a little bit about this dust-up between the county and the D-backs. You just saw Mr. Kanasic talk a little bit about that. How's this all going to play out?
I think at the end of the day, they'll come to an agreement, but right now, quite frankly, the county has an inside straight, and the Diamondbacks have two twos at best, a pair of twos.
Well, you know, to know Andy Kanasic in the Republican Party is to love him. So, you know, only Andy can toss a grenade on his way out of office. But let me just say this.
That is important because he's not running for re-election, so he can be a little bit more candid.
And he's been working on this for 20 years. And let me, a point of clarification, the county does have a suite, okay? And I know this because I've worked on that agreement along with Betsy Bayless and Warren Whitney, so they can verify this. That suite goes to charity. The supervisors aren't in that suite. That needs to be very clear. So the supervisors are a little bit irritated with the team who is alleging, very well knowing that the supervisors don't use that suite, that the supervisors are. It's an untrue statement would be the nicest way I could put it. But I think the long-term vision of this is to transition over to the city of Phoenix once the city of Phoenix can afford to take over operations.
Derek Hall and Andy Kanasic are both gentlemen, and at the end of the day,
it will come together.
So you don't see D-backs leaving town?
No, not in a million years.
All right, I think that's what most people really care about at the end of the day.
They'll be here, don't worry.
So another thing that people probably care about a lot is marijuana, and let's talk a little bit about this. Either one way or the other. Either they want to smoke it or they want to keep it illegal here. So, but a ballot initiative to legalize marijuana for recreational purposes here in Arizona. Qualified for the ballot. The signatures were verified, so it's going to be on the November ballot, we think, but there is a legal challenge in court. Oral arguments were heard on Friday. We should expect some sort of decision coming up this week, and the opponents to this initiative say they think the ballot language is flawed. How is this going to play out? What's going to happen here, Marcus?
Well, this is actually, this is an interesting case because it very well may impact another case on another ballot initiative having to do with minimum wage. But but part of this case has to do with who's actually circulating these in the initiative, the petitions, when we're out circulating. And I think most people have been accosted at either the post office or the supermarket or wherever it may be. Please sign this petition and let me make up a story about what this does. The question is, are you an Arizona resident when you're circulating these petitions? And the court's gone out and subpoenaed these people to show up in court, but they can't find a number of them.
And we see court challenges, though, every election cycle to stuff. How successful are they?
It's a high bar. Judges don't like to interfere in the initiative process, even though Arizona's initiative process is flawed on its face because it's much too easy for out-of-state interests to come in, dump money, and get things put on the ballot.
And so also sticking with marijuana, we also saw, at least on the federal level, the Department of Justice rejected a petition from Congress to reschedule marijuana from a Class 1 drug. Schedule 1 drug. I apologize for that. Do you think this is going to have any effect across the country? Because the federal law still looks at marijuana as a dangerous drug, and other states are now legalizing this.
Yeah, well, this conflict, keep in mind, has been going on for a while now because we've had Colorado, and I think that the rest of the nation has been looking at Colorado to see how the feds would sort of deal with that particular situation, and to date, really no impact. Certainly there's been impact as marijuana being legalized in Colorado. There's no doubt about that. And there's a huge financial problem about where they put that money, and it's dangerous.
And again, in November, if this gets to the ballot, is this going to pass?
I believe not. I think it will lose. I don't think it will lose by a large margin, but I think it will lose. There's still enough uncertainty, and the Obama administration not working towards decriminalization also sends a signal to a lot of people.
Well, and keep in mind, medical marijuana barely passed, and the opponents of full marijuana know that.
All right, we're going to have to take a quick break. We've got lots more to talk about on Politics Unplugged, and we are turning to the presidential election just ahead. But first, forget the polls. Political producer Jay Crandall shows us one reliable group of voters thinks about this election.
They are called the Walmart Moms, a focus group of 20 women brought together this past week in Ohio and Arizona. It's a group that has supported the winning candidate or party in almost every election since 2008. But this time around, many of them would rather skip it.
No one's happy. The whole group was pretty much a consensus that no one is happy about the choices that we have.
Stephanie Colbert is one of those women. She says no one in her group seemed happy, describing the choices for president as
scary and scarier.
She says she worries Donald Trump could lead us into another war, but still believes he's better than Hillary Clinton.
I don't trust her at all. I think she's completely corrupt, and I do not believe that she will do what America needs to improve the economy, for our safety.
If forced to choose, she says it would be Trump, but it won't be easy.
I'm not happy with this election at all.
This is political producer Jay Crandall for Politics Unplugged.
There is a place, unlike anywhere else on Earth, where you can walk among red giants. A place where your spirit will soar and your heart will race. Where a simple stroll can turn into the adventure of a lifetime. A place where you can become small and mighty all at once. Sedona. The most beautiful place on Earth in so many ways.
I have Cox Home Life.
I'm a clueless teenager in a horror movie.
When I hear a strange noise, I turn on the lights and see it's just the cat.
I slowly walk toward it.
When I see something moving outside, my security camera shows me it's just my husband.
I investigate.
Home Life lets me lock the door remotely.
I leave mine unlocked. And I run upstairs where there's no exit.
I'm safe with Cox Home Life.
Get peace of mind with Cox Home Life for as low as $29.99 a month. Ask about a free indoor camera.
Stuck inside for winter?
Sweats, pizza, and wine. Like the cover of Giving Up magazine.
It's time to turn up the heat.
Did someone call for 10 cc's of me?
And stay toasty.
Someone's looking sexy tonight. I was talking about me.
Hot in Cleveland.
I met a man this year who touched me deeply. That could be half of Cleveland.
Weeknights at 8 and 8:30 on 3TV.
I'm Gina Maravilla from Arizona's Family Surprise Squad.
We just want to say a big thank you to you guys.
I feel like I'm in a dream. Somebody pinch me.
I've never gotten anything given to me in my life.
Arizona's Family Surprise Squad is on the move. I can't believe you. Thank you.
We need to help our teacher.
Thank you.
I wish I could have. I really do.
Nice to know people care.
Thank you so much, Arizona's Family.
Where will we be next? Gotta find out.
Thank you, 3TV.
Family. It's the center of your universe. For 3TV, it's the foundation of what we do. That's why we're doing more stories about the things that really matter to you. Staying healthy without breaking the bank. Helping our children get the best education. And keeping a roof over our heads. Because that's what families do. 3TV. Arizona's family.
And welcome back to Politics Unplugged, where we're going to continue our conversation with our partners from First Strategic. And guys, welcome back. I want to talk a little bit about
Walmart moms?
About Walmart moms. Obviously, you saw that package there that we went into the break with. And, you know, obviously this underscores a lot of troubles that Hillary Clinton has with women here. I want you to take a listen to this soundbite.
You know, lies, deceit, corruption. She just scares the snot out of me.
Scares the snot out of me. Now, is she going to be able to overcome this over the next 88 days, or what's going to happen here?
I am, you know, she hasn't overcome it to date, and so you've got some serious concerns there. You know, we've renamed this group, I think, every cycle. We come up with a fancy new name. We've called them soccer moms, hockey moms, now it's Walmart moms. It's essentially the same demographic, but also to that point, that demographic has traditionally leaned towards the Democratic candidate. And I think what you're seeing today in these focus groups should be very alarming for the Hillary Clinton campaign. And she can't get over that hump.
And there were more problems for the Clinton campaign this week. We saw more email problems, more accusations of influence peddling when it comes to the Clinton Foundation. How much is this going to hurt the campaign?
Well, as you saw in Jay's piece, the Walmart mom used two very important words: safety and trust. Those are very important in elections. And so even if you're ahead of Donald Trump, and I'm sure she is, although the LA Times poll that came out today shows 1 point difference, when you have a problem with safety and trust, the election is not over till Election Day.
Yeah, and speaking of Donald Trump, I've got some more questions about him coming up right now.
Shocking.
Now, obviously, a lot of people, according to polls, see his weak spot is foreign policy. In his past week, he actually accused Barack Obama of being the founder of ISIS. Here, let's take a listen.
He is the founder, in a true sense. If he would have stayed, I didn't want to be there. But if he would have kept a relatively small force, he probably could have prevented ISIS from forming.
Now, he was later given a chance by Hugh Hewitt, the conservative radio talk show host, to walk that back. He didn't. He doubled down on that statement, and then later he comes out and he says, "Oh, I was just kidding.
I was being sarcastic."
Well, he was being sarcastic. You know, there's plenty of things.
But he doubled down on the statement with Hugh Hewitt afterwards.
You know what? That one, there's plenty of things to shoot at Donald Trump about. That one, that sarcasm. You know, there are a lot of Americans that do believe by the actions of this administration, which she participated in, we now have a mess and a caliphate in the middle of the Middle East.
Sure, but to say that the president was the founder of that, don't you think that's a little out of bounds, even joking on a presidential campaign?
You know, the week before, she was joking.
Which I don't think it was joking because he doubled down on it.
People for hunting, okay, and nobody jumps all over that and screams and yells about it. That one was absolutely sarcasm. There's many of the things he says that I won't defend, but that one, oh, come on.
Well, and speaking of, obviously, Trump not running against Obama here, now he brought Hillary into this conversation, Hillary Clinton, saying there's no way that she can take out ISIS. Here, let's take a listen.
I said that if they gave a trophy for the most valuable player, you call it in sports, most valuable player award. The winner of the trophy for ISIS would probably have to be Hillary Clinton, right? Hillary Clinton. And now she's going to tell you how to get rid of ISIS.
Paulus has got to be glad, at least on this, he's staying on message, right?
He's been staying on message.
Well, you know, to your point, he is. I wouldn't say he's staying on message, but he's in the ballpark of message. Would be the best way I could put it, which is a vast improvement from where he's been, by the way. But what he's trying to set up the record to get back to her record at the State Department, which then brings up all the questions about emails, Benghazi, this new development with the foundation, and so you know you can clearly see that that's the message point they want to go back. But you've got to find it fascinating, Dennis, with all these missteps, by the way, which have lent him more media coverage. The race is somewhat close, which tells you a lot about
well, it shows that his support has been cratering since the convention.
But her support, she should be up by 25 points if this was a conventional campaign. I mean, it's unbelievable that they can't put him away. But the whining from folks saying that about them attaching Obama to her, these were the champions of attaching George Bush to John McCain when Obama was running against McCain. So look, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Get over it.
So as you guys were saying that maybe Trump was staying in the ballpark of staying on message here, but Trump,
we're painting a pretty big ballpark.
Yeah, but Trump being Trump, obviously he got in his own way again. Now here he is saying that this was a sarcastic statement, but other people actually believe it was a call to violence here.
If she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
so when is he telling the truth and being serious? When is he being sarcastic?
There's no excuse for that statement. I wouldn't defend it. Other than the context is, remember the day before she attacked women and men that go hunting, and I think that may have been swirling through his brain. But the other thing is here we are talking about, and it's not that we're not going to, but there's a big story today about Nigerian influence with the Clinton Foundation. That is a really serious situation and accusation, and I know it's involved in those emails, but those are the kinds of things that people should be focusing on in a presidential race, not who went off cue, and sometimes I know it's going to be covered, but that shouldn't be the centerpiece of discussion related to the presidency.
It seems to me this election cycle that every time Trump makes one of these crazy statements or crazy accusations, 2 days later there's a development coming out of either the White House or the State Department on something corrupt that's happening within the administration. I mean, one day it was $400 million going to the terrorist country of Iran, for God's sake.
Yeah, but okay, I want to show you some polls here because there is some good news with Clinton. Although she has stumbled, it definitely shows though that Trump's gas still seem to be worse than her own. The latest New York Times national polling average shows her up 46 to 39%. Now, are these numbers going to hold?
That's the thing about this race, and I think October, safety and trust will crystallize, and it could crystallize in her favor, and it could crystallize absolutely against her. 46-39 at this point, big deal. Margin of error is going to be 4 to 5. The idea that they haven't put him away is unbelievable.
We're going to have to end on that right there. That's all the time we have for Politics Unplugged this week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. Good night.